Hey guys, welcome back. It's Missy, and today we're going to be talking about reactive abuse. So what is reactive abuse? It's pretty self-explanatory. It's when you react to the abuse. When you have a narcissist in your life, whether that's a parent, a family member, a partner, when they go into that devalue stage where they gaslight you, they call you names, they're passive aggressive, you may try to be calm and deal with it in a calm manner, but you're still human. As it continues on and they keep poking you and they do this over and over again, eventually you explode. You get to a point where you're trying to protect yourself from all the abuse you're enduring, and you may do that by doing the same things they're doing. You may also be passive aggressive. You may insult them. You may scream at the top of your lungs. You may throw things. You start to react outside of who you actually are, and you react in manners that may surprise you. Then when you do this, you'll notice that the narcissist will calm down and they'll be like, look at you, look how you're behaving, you're crazy, you're out of control, you need help. Then you will feel terrible for what you have done, for acting out of character, for going to that low place. You'll feel shameful, you'll feel guilt, you'll feel terrible. And that's how you know that you're not the narcissist. Because a lot of times when you start to behave like this, you start to question, am I the narcissist? Am I the problem? But you know you're not the narcissist because you're reflecting and you're feeling bad for your actions. The narcissist takes a different approach. How the narcissist deals with this is they continue the gaslighting, they make themselves the victim, and they try to fit you in that narrative. They're always trying to fit you in that you're the bad guy, you're the one that's abusing them. They did exactly what they wanted, which was to switch the roles. They don't feel bad for what they have done. They feel empowered in feeling like they're the victim and you're this bad guy that's attacking them. So this is reactive abuse in a nutshell. And the term reactive abuse, I don't really like it because why wouldn't you react to the abuse you're enduring? It's much more than that. This abuse changes you. It changes your subconscious beliefs. It changes who you are at your core. So our beliefs, our subconscious programming is changed by repetition and emotion. When you keep behaving this same way, where you're reacting to this abuse, and you have these big emotions, it changes your subconscious beliefs. So the subconscious belief that changes is that you see when you react in this way, it causes a calmness from the narcissist. It gets them to stop doing what they're doing. Now in your mind, in order to keep you safe, because the mind cares about keeping you safe, you now believe you have to respond this way in order for it to stop. So you now believe that you need to throw things in order for it to stop. You believe you need to scream at the top of your lungs in order for it to stop. So this programming changes your neural pathways. So basically, the more you engage in this reactive abuse behavior and thought patterns, the stronger a pathway will be in your mind. And the more you will stay stuck in those thoughts and that behavioral pattern. And then what happens from the outside world, it continues the story, because now there's evidence that you are the one that's abusive because you're reacting to all of this abuse. And so then you get stuck in this role. And you're gaslit into thinking that you are this abusive person because you see yourself and you're like, oh, I am acting in this way. I must be a huge problem. And that's how the narcissist gaslights you and keeps you stuck in thinking you are someone you're not. Thinking you're a monster, thinking you're crazy, thinking you're abusive, thinking you're the narcissist, thinking you're the problem. Now, reactive abuse doesn't just stop here when you're around the narcissist. It also continues on anytime you're triggered or you are dealt with a similar situation to what the narcissist has put you through. So you could have someone that's not narcissistic, but if they do anything remotely similar to what the narcissist has done, you will react that same way. You'll have that reactive abuse. You'll react that same way because in your mind, you've been programmed to believe this is what I have to do in order to keep me safe. Even though that person's not going to react the same way or behave in the same way the narcissist does, it doesn't matter. Your brain is programmed to believe you have to protect yourself, and this is the only way. So for instance, if you were someone where the narcissist made you feel like you never had a say, if there's ever a time when you're backed in a corner and you feel like you don't have a say, you may do those explosive behaviors that you've done in the past. And this especially happens if you had narcissistic parents. You definitely get programmed that you have to respond a certain way in order to protect yourself. And those are the strong neural pathways that are in your mind. So in order to stop reactive abuse, if you don't have these neural pathways already formed, you have to form new neural pathways, or you have to go back to who you used to be and remembering how you used to respond to things. So you want to think about it of how do you want to respond to these situations, who do you want to be, or who did you used to be, how did you used to respond to things. So there's work on both sides, when you're in the situation and when you're outside the situation. So when you're outside the situation, you want to do constant work on yourself of imagining what it is like to be a calm, cool, happy person, or whoever it is that you want to be or who you used to be. You want to remember what that feels like and how you want to approach situations, and you want to practice that on a regular basis. So anytime small things happen, you want to practice being that person who you want to be or who you used to be. Because when you practice when the reactive abuse, or when you practice when the abuse isn't going on, then it will help in those times when you are triggered and when the abuse is going on. So at first it may be a little bit difficult, but over time it'll get easier and easier. You want to recreate those feelings and emotions, because repetition and emotion changes our subconscious programming and beliefs. And you want to remember, and you want to think about, okay, what does this feel like? What does it feel like to be a calm person? What does it feel like to not let things get to me? What does it look like? Practicing feeling it and being that person will help you be that person in those situations. So it's really important to practice when you're outside of dealing with abuse. Then when you're in the abuse, it's really important, and as we always talk about, respond, don't react. It's important for you to take a lot of deep breaths so you don't get to that emotional part and you don't get to that reactive part. And you want to observe, don't absorb. So you look at it and you see, oh, I recall that is, or I recognize that is gaslighting. I recognize they're trying to poke my buttons. I recognize this behavior. They're trying to bring me down to that level. They're trying to make me fit that narrative. Observe it and then respond, don't react. So give them a boring response. Don't show them any emotion, because the less emotion you show them, the less they're going to try to poke you, and they don't know how to get you to react, and they can't fit you in this narrative that you're the bad guy. So you want to gray rock, you want to be boring, you want to remember, like, hey, I know who I am. I've been practicing outside of when I'm dealing with this outside of when I'm dealing with this abuse. You want to recall all those things and be that person. So recreate that feelings. So oftentimes we will respond off our ego because a part of us believes what that person is saying about us, and then we react off of it because we're like, we don't want that person to say that about us because we're not that, and you need to take that back. But if we are very strong and firm in who we are, we don't let them try to get inside our head and make us believe we are this certain person, or they say these horrible things to us, or they try to make us feel crazy. If we don't allow them to get us to that point, which I know is very difficult, it's so extremely hard, don't get me wrong, but we remember we have control over ourselves in those situations, they can't get us there, and then they lose, and that's how you win every time. So the main things is you want to practice being the person who you want to be or how you want to respond in these situations, and then do it on a regular basis, and do it when you're in the situation. Understand you're not gonna be able to have a conversation with them, let that go. You can't reason with them. It's really just responding and not reacting when you're around them. So this is understanding reactive abuse. I hope this helps you, so you understand, like, you're not crazy, you're not a bad person, you're reacting to the abuse you're enduring, and it's very normal. Anyone that goes through this starts to react off the abuse they're dealing with. Your fight or flight kicks in. So I hope this helps. What do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye, guys. If you're wondering why my voice is a little hoarse, it's because I'm getting over COVID. I literally went through all 3 years, didn't get it. And then all of a sudden, I got it. Poof. And let me tell you something. 10 out of 10 would not do again.